So here we're looking at the different avenues of digital art, particularly for this video looking at concept art and design. Different fields within concept design is environment artist, character designer, creature designer, industrial designer, and matte painter. So within these realms you'll find a lot of similarities in skills that you'll need. For an environment artist, you're going to have to decide whether it's for games or film, although people tend to work in both. You need the ability to speed paint, so check out Sparth and Steamboat guys for examples of that. You need strong compositional skills, strong perspective since you're drawing a 3D space and designing within a 3D space. Strong color and lighting for dramatic effect. Oftentimes you also need 3D skills, but this depends on the size of the company and what you're working on, and also having experience with an editor such as UDK or Unity, and that's more for game design. So if you want to study and check out some good stuff, you'll find heaps of stuff on the net about this, but yeah, check out Loomis's books for some good foundational stuff such as successful drawing. Has a lot of good stuff on perspective. Secondly, we have character designer. So you definitely, core of the skills is anatomy, figure drawing, do a lot of figure drawing. You need to get a sense of fashion, historical trends within fashion, such as Victorian era, steampunk, genre trends, such as sci-fi, fantasy. Gesture, so expression within the pose of a character. You can do a lot of gesture drawing and stuff for practice and warm-ups. Storytelling, so storytelling within the pose and within the design of the character. So that's going to be reflected, are their clothes really torn? Is their hair really messy? Have they been through a lot, or are they really pristine and elegant? Traditional drawing skills is important, just for sketching for clients. Silhouette is important for shape and readability from far away, especially within a game. 3D is necessary or not, depending on the company and the job description. So a lot of these will come down to the job you're applying for. So check out the job descriptions, I'll talk about those later. And expressions, so expressions within a character, different smiley faces and things is good for the portfolio. Creature designer, you want good animal and human anatomy skills. Believability, so understanding real life and real creatures. Color, for you may have to draw the same creature but come up with different color schemes that will be used throughout a game, such as an RPG, where at later levels and later stages in the game it's the same creature, same model, but different color scheme to differentiate it. Silhouette is important as well for readability, just as I was talking about with character designer. Shape theory you're looking at, that's more to do with abstraction. Different shapes will convey different moods. Triangular shapes such as shark's teeth, fangs, and thorns are generally triangular. So if you can use that within your design, your creature's gonna look dangerous. And this goes for all things. It might be environment artists. A jagged looking cliff is gonna look more dangerous than a rounded off hill or something. Understanding different habitats. So different habitats, even in on planet Earth, we see frogs that are in a wet habitat. We see polar bears are in an Arctic habitat, and there's different traits that are common. So Arctic animals tend to have long fur and white fur for that environment. So if you have an understanding of that, you'll be able to use those to help make decisions within your creature design. Also, having understanding of plants and then also mechanics is important, because you can incorporate a lot of the features of those things into your creature design. And creature design is also to do with plants. You might have like a Venus flytrap creature and things like that. So those things are nice to have. Mechanics, if you want to make, you know, a more cyborg sort of creature and make it look believable. Industrial design, so we're looking at things like vehicles and props. Have a good understanding of form and aesthetics. You know, what makes a Dodge Viper look more aggressive than a Volkswagen Beetle, so that comes into form. Anatomy is important, since everything you're designing is generally based around a human and how a human interacts with it, and how a human, you know, sits in a car seat or things like that. So that will help you to design it and get all the proportions looking correct, and to do with the ergonomics. Vehicles, so have a look at, you know, military vehicles that are out there. Have a look at, you know, consumer vehicles and different, you know, concept cars and things like that, to really fuel your imagination. And also looking at, you know, industrial machinery and all this stuff, and designs from the past as well. So looking at the history of technology and the different materials that have developed and things. So understanding mechanics and functionality to suspend the disbelief within your design and make it look real and not ridiculous. Having understanding of perspective, so you want to be able to render your images out in perspective for use for modeling, and also just looks better and tells more about the design. And understanding trends in fashion, since a lot of, if you're designing like a Space Marine suit, a lot of that has to do with fashion. And onto matte painter, we're looking at color and lighting. So a lot of these skills are just the same as environment artists, but there's a few extra things. So if you're a matte painter for film, you want to be familiar with packages such as Vue, which is for compositing and creating 3D environments. After Effects is another compositing thing, and Modo is good for doing your getting your lighting and coloring. It has some really good HDR rendering features, but they aren't really essential. This is really going to come down to the job description. You'll see the programs that they want you to be familiar with. And looking at understanding perspective, since you're doing a lot of photo manipulation, you want to be able to manipulate those photos into a space that then they weren't originally from. So being able to tweak them and make them look like they're actually supposed to be there. Speed painting skills is important, so you can get your concepts down, and then those other things. But moving on to, I guess, some core skills that I've noticed between them all. So anatomy is necessary for pretty much everything. Strong traditional foundations, just basically strong foundations of drawing and painting, color and light and things. Color and lighting, if you want to find a really good resource for looking at that, look at James Gurney's book that came out last year, Color and Light. You can get that from, you know, Amazon, Book Depository, different vendors. Most comprehensive and best book I've seen on the subject. You need to, I wouldn't say need to, but it's helpful to be able to execute a variety of styles, since you're not always working on the same project, and, you know, different projects are going to have a different style, and just the ability to adapt to a style. If you're working in that studio, they want to see that you can do that. And some 3D skills is important, but not always essential, depending on the job and studio and a passion for what you do. So enter competitions, enter game artisans. There's concept.art.org, CG Hub, CG Society, Imagine FX. So all these have competitions, and they're just like character of the week and things like that. So if you enter them, you can compare yourself to other artists that are working towards similar goals, and also just being involved with the community and getting some exposure. And a lot of employers do look at these competitions to see who's hot out there, and you may. So now looking at the different companies that are out there, these are game companies. Some are just concept studios. So if you go to these websites, you'll find a lot of job listings, and if it's for character design, you may see what are the requirements for that. So in doing that, you can look at what skills you need to brush up on and which skills you need to develop and what you'll need in your portfolio. And yeah, I mean, these companies are some of the biggest out there, so you know, you may have to start small, or but depending on your skill level, try these out. But these are only some that I could think off the top of my head. So looking at different job sites with other job postings, CG Hub, concept.org, Samia is the Australasian one, Game Artisans and all that, so check those out. So set goals in a schedule. So if you want to be a character designer, set goals, you know, study anatomy, you know, study fashion, build up, you know, a portfolio with a lot of character designs, different genres and things, and have a look at, if you want some advice or some direction, look at, you know, successful people in those fields and see what their portfolio looks like and what you might need to do to tailor it appropriately. Draw and paint daily is important. You want to practice as much as you can. You want to you know, draw more than the next guy, but you know, do it smartly. Don't just draw anything. Draw you know, build your portfolio as you draw. You may draw heaps of gestures, so you know, why not draw the character, then draw that character in different gestures. So thinking about how those skills will be used professionally. Observe the world around you, absorb everything, because your imagination is going to be fueled by reality. Stay inspired, surround yourself with other artists, get involved with the communities, and yeah, you may be inspired by music, you may be inspired by film, you may be inspired by, you know, video games, you may be inspired by just waking up early in the morning and going for a bushwalk, whatever it is, you know, just keep that creative flow going. Don't kill yourself. So what I'm talking about there is you in a sense, you want to be in control of your art. You don't want to control you, because otherwise, you know, if you just draw all day and do nothing else, you're going to lose a lot of motivation and burn out, and you're going to you know, get injuries and things like that. So, you know, exercise a bit, eat well, all that stuff. Get involved with the communities, gain contacts and friends, because you never know who may recommend you to an employer, and you know, that just builds up a bit of friendly competition. Be realistic about your skill level, so always see where you're at with your art and what you need to get better at. And if you want to apply for a job at Blizzard or something like that, you know, really be honest with yourself about if you're good enough yet, and compare yourself to successful artists out there. And don't get mad, just learn, because you know, those professionals went through the same struggles as you, and they just pushed hard and worked hard. So don't get mad at them, just learn from them. So hopefully that helps, and thanks for watching.